Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is facing serious allegations in a new lawsuit filed by his ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie. He is denying the charges, and we've read the lawsuit. But then why did he allegedly try to pay off his accuser with 8 figures? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. I got to be honest, I read all these complaints now way more skeptically just because of all the stories that we've in fact seen since the Depp trial and so many others. I think these allegations do seem credible. There's a lot of specifics here. However, Sean Diddy Combs has denied all of this. He is currently now defending himself. We need to hear his side of things. And I do need to see some evidence coming in from Cassie's team, which I'm sure we'll get. They are trying to get a jury trial. What's most interesting to me, and we'll go through some of the main parts of what she's alluding, this to me is still the most interesting through. If this is true, to me, this is a really bad look. Now, Diddy's lawyers claim that she tried to come in at the last minute to get a payout, or she was going to write a book. Well, I don't see a book. I see a lawsuit. And they're alleging that that Mr. Combs tried to offer her 8 figures. That's like 10 million plus, guys, to silence her and prevent her from filing this lawsuit. Said Dudwigger to Deadline on Thursday after the singer and model filed the suit and claims subject her to a lot of words I can't say, guys. She rejected his efforts and decided to give a voice to all women who suffer in silence. Miss Ventura should be applauded for her bravery. Statement today came after Combs responded to the filing, saying that he vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. He's using Harvey Weinstein's lawyer. For the past 6 months, Mr. Combs has been subjected to Miss Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about the relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Miss Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and seeking a payday. So, with all that between the lawyers, Ventura alleges against the Bad Boy Entertainment founder over their 11-year personal and professional relationship in the 36-page complaint. Pretty chilling and specific. Yeah, and here's some of the things that we can show you. You can go there and pause it and look for it yourself. I'm going to read it as carefully as I can because I got to be careful, obviously, with YouTube keywords. But yes, the R word does come in. That's the biggest criminal offense aside from additional instances of ABUSCE. But she alleges that he R'd her in her own home after she tried to leave, and often did things, including stomping, that left evidence. Now, I don't know if there's actually, like left marks. Whether there's evidence of that, we'll see. But several claims of that. To me, and honestly, those two things are the real criminal behavior here. The rest of this is a lot of just really bad behavior. I don't know if it's criminal, to be honest, but it's definitely trying to lean and paint Diddy in a certain way. And some of it's messed up, and some of it seems to have been confirmed, including the fact that he blew up a man's car after he learned that he was romantically interested in Cassie. And this was confirmed. The car was Kid Cudi's car. He said he would blow up the rapper's car around that time. Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. Through a spokesman, Kid Cudi confirmed Miss Ventura's account. This is all true. Again, not a good look for Diddy. A lot of this doesn't look good. I don't know what's true. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty. We have to have that same energy for everybody. Had it for Russell. We had it for Johnny, right? We got it for Danny Masterson until he lost. So we got to do the same energy for everybody. Another allegation that he forced her to engage in acts with other male workers while, enjoying it from, viewing it. The word force is really what's to me like, did she want it? A lot of this is confusing. Like, why was she there? What was going on? Because again, another ran out of his apartment with a firearm in pursuit of a rival industry executive whom he learned was nearby. What does that have to do with this? She claims, well, it made her scared because he was constantly had firearms, demanded that she carry one of those firearms at one point in her purse just to make her feel uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous it is. When I read the complaint, I didn't read it that way. Even her own complaint, I read it like, well, he needed to go do what he does. And he got angry and had to, I guess it was Suge Knight showed up, his rival. And so he had to go do his thing. Now, granted, not a good look, not good for Cassie, but that's Diddy. That's sort of the person he's been. I don't think he just did it to demonstrate how dangerous he was to her. I think he was legitimately trying to go after Suge Knight. Introduced Miss Ventura to a lifestyle of excessive alcohol, substance abuse, and required her to procure illicit prescriptions to satisfy his own addictions. Now, that's a lot of the complaint. There's a lot of the complaint is specifically in the beginning. And again, I need to see more proof. There's a lot of specifics in here, but there's also just a lot of complaining about him, and it's a lot of an abuse of power, which again, isn't right. I'm not trying to condone Diddy. I'm trying to focus on like, well, what's criminal here? What's he actually going to be charged with? And there's a lot of stuff where it's like her parents are there as he's getting her an apartment. And it's like a lot of stuff she's accepting before they're even romantically in a relationship. And then like going to Miami, to fake a trip to Miami, which her boyfriend wasn't there, and then giving her a lot of DRIGS that she finally succumbs. But it does seem like she doesn't acknowledge that it wasn't consensual or that she didn't agree. She writes it in this way, well, that he was painting, using all this to woo her, and she was impressionable and young. There's a lot of it where it's like, I don't know, will that actually be criminal, and will the jury feel for that? Or will they say, I mean, you were trying to get famous. You accepted Diddy's fast pass. Now, there are clear incidences of more, how do I say it? Sorry, guys. I know it's just hard to talk about all this without saying certain keywords of violent behavior, which is unacceptable. And that's the stuff that I feel like we really need to figure out, can we get proof of? And it seems like there will be, because in all these instances of those stories, she says that his staff and people around him were allowing it, which is super effed up. So that not only would he harm her, he would then hole her up in a hotel in Hawaii for a week with his staff knowing, so no one could see her that he did it. And which is damning and awful. And you'd think there'd be enough people in Diddy's entourage from that point. You'd think somebody would have finally come forward like, this isn't right. I got to stand the truth. Will they under oath? What will happen? What will Diddy do to try to retain silence to some of these people? You guys got to remember, people are accusing Diddy of killing Tupac. Like, that's what 50 Cent and others have come forward alleging him. That's what he's done because of that rivalry between, Suge and Tupac and him and Biggie. And then Biggie, anyway, you guys know all the beef. But that's Diddy at the end of the day. Like, he'll go do something if he's got to do something. And so, look, it's a complicated case. There's a lot more coming to it. Those are sort of the if I'm giving you the top line of what the most sort of it's she was impressionable. He was using his fame and the fact that he was ahead of her label to basically control her direction and her fame. And it's like problematic for me for a bit where it's like, well, don't do that. We got to start educating, especially our young people. Don't do that. Don't sleep with your boss. Don't go screw celebrities. None of that is good for you. It's not going to net anything. They're going to do you, and then they're going to dump you and move on to the next one. That's what celebrities do a lot oftentimes. So you got to be careful. If a producer or director or somebody's making those advances to further your career, don't do it. Don't do it. We got to empower people to say it's not worth it because it's not. Find another way to get there. Or you're going to then accept it. And then it's like, well, a lot of people did that with Weinstein and they became very famous and they enabled that behavior. And it wasn't illegal at the time. It should be, I guess. But no one's ever really paid that price. I guess I asked that question to you. Is Diddy allowed to be like, yeah, I'll get you famous, but you got to hook up with me? And then you can say, no, hell no, see ya, jerk, call him out, he's a creep. But is a woman allowed to accept that is what I want you to ask. Can that be a path to fame? And are they, as a woman or a man, allowed to make that path? And I don't know here. And again, not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to give you my full take on it. There's definitely some specific instances of the ABUSE that seem really problematic for Diddy. I don't know. And it seems like she should have some proof or witnesses that will step forward. She alleges, though, because of this control, because of everything he had, these people never spoke up. They were all in fear, in which case, again, that's not going to help her case. Is that still true? Or could this be the crack in the army where Diddy's now going to face actual consequences? That's pretty much where we stand. Now, there is no criminal investigation. That was something else that was out there, which also gave me pause on this. Again, there could be, they don't announce that, but there was word of a secret criminal investigation, of course, from TMZ. And now they've had to correct it and said, no, the NPD and NYPD actually spoke up, which they don't usually do, and say, no, that was incorrect. There isn't one now. And they said, but we don't talk about it. But no, so far, no criminal investigation. This is just, I guess, a civil case presented against him. And there's a lot of people now coming forward. 50 Cent, obviously, who does not like Diddy, but also some people from his old band, was it Danity Kane, have come forward, and we may break down some of those. I'm gathering more intel on that in a future video. But what do you guys think of all this? Again, you can read the full complaint. I'll put it in the description so you can read it if YouTube lets me. Sometimes they don't. But overall, again, do you feel like you've heard enough? You've seen enough to judge Diddy? Are you waiting for more information to come in from him and evidence from her? That's kind of where I'm at. I'm not saying these are untrue, but I definitely need to see more, and I need to see what Diddy's going to provide in response. Look, I will also say I don't really like Diddy. I could sense that there's something wrong with him, but is he a criminal? Has he done criminal acts? That's really what this now needs to be about, in my opinion. But I'm curious what you guys think. Do you want me to cover this further, get more into it as more develops? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments before we get there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for alerts, smash that like button, and leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts on this? Where do you stand? I do think we need to hear Cassie out. Obviously, she's filed a very detailed complaint. Let's hear it. We'll try to get you more insight as it comes in. Thank you again so much for watching here on Popcorn Planet.